Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. So this reading is giving me the energy of a syllabus. As a chosen being, if the divine or the Most High was to give you a syllabus, and if you were to understand the learning objectives, the goals, your course content, your responsibilities, like if you were to understand your path and what you were going to walk through, I think a lot of us would drop the class. A lot of us would be like, there's no way I can take this. I'm not smart enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not capable enough. And so a syllabus is something that is given to you at the start of a course, a term, or a class. It is a contract between the instructor and the student, and it sets you up for a positive learning environment because it almost establishes a framework, right? It outlines the course, it tells you the expectations, it tells you the requirements, and it also gives you a roadmap for success. Now, the Matrix has a syllabus that it provides humanity. It says you go to school from this age to this age. You get a degree. You get a certification. You use that to establish a career. You found a spouse. You find a home. You build a family. You work for a series of years. You develop some type of nest egg for retirement. You travel and then you transition. So like that is the syllabus that fits the world. But as a chosen being, you are in this world. You are not of this world. So your divine syllabus is not something that is given to you, but it is something that you gain over time. This reading is kind of revealing what the divine syllabus would look like if the Most High were to put a piece of paper in our hand in order to prepare us for what this walk is. Now, there are some readings where I can recognize that I have to share certain things personal, and so this is one of them. So Tennille Talks is not my first spiritual tarot channel. My gateway into spirituality, it happened by way of numbers and numerology. And so I'd say maybe in about 2011, I consistently saw 9/11 on the clock. Now, realistically, it can only appear 2 times a day, but I swear I saw it all the time, right? I kept seeing the number. And so then it pushed me to discover. And then I started seeing other number frequencies. Well, then I got led down the path of numerology and I just fell in love. And so when I created this channel, it's called Destiny Digits Numerology. I'll share the link. When I created that channel, I combined my love of numbers with tarot. One of the problems with me creating that channel was my proximity to the Most High. Oftentimes in the comments, you guys tell me how much I have grown. Well, when I share this channel, you are really going to see the growth. It will be even more apparent. And so I started Destiny Digits May 4th of 2021. I started Tennille Talks on April 14th. 2024. That's 1,076 days in between the start of those channels. That's about 35 months, almost 3 years. And so what happened from that first start date of that channel to the beginning of Tennille Talks, that was me stepping into the unknown. I had no idea. Of what I had already walked through or what I was still going to be called to walk through. And so the growth, me walking into my journey or my path, a lot of the things that I was practicing and preparing for, those things were going to take place with people that I called family, people that I called lovers. The way the Most High revealed people, places, and things and was able to show me the realities of what I have lived through and lived around, I mean, it was remarkable. And so what really grew me is truth. The truth about who people were, but then also the truth about who I was not. So the first part of this reading, it starts with like the goal. When we're talking about a syllabus, the goal is going to be like a key component of structuring a syllabus for your students. This is where you put the personal milestones. These are the things that you are aiming to hit. These are your targets. And so as a chosen being, when you're looking at your chosen syllabus, one of your goals based on this reading says that you must trust the timing. Now listen, my proximity to the Most High right now, today, I I was so far from God when I created that first channel, not out of like disrespect or anything, but it was just like I was where I was. I was where I was. And so looking at me trying to start something, I recognized that I didn't trust the timing, but I didn't know the timing. I didn't understand that the divine had a rhythm. I didn't understand that there was a perfect time. And so when that channel fell apart, a piece of me fell apart. And when I say it fell apart, like it still stands, but I shared it with people that I thought were family, friends, and lovers. And so one of the reasons why I got so close to the Most High is because I got so far away from people that I thought I loved or loved me. I have a card here. It says, sometimes good things fall apart so better things can fall together. That's a quote by Marilyn Monroe. And so this is saying that, listen, there may have been times where you were in the energy of like the Two of Wands. You were planning, you were predicting, you were trying to decide where to go, what to do next. You've got this energy, this passion, this spark. You put a plan in place. But have you ever watched somebody who can't dance? Sometimes it's like you get secondhand embarrassment. It's kind of painful to watch somebody who's putting all of their passion into moving their body, but it's like they can't catch the rhythm. They can't hear the sound. And so if I were to describe that first channel to how I'm existing in my own energy, I would be like a person who just couldn't dance. But I really didn't have the closeness to the Most High. I really didn't understand that there was a timing that I needed to trust. There was no patience. There was no divine rhythm. There was nothing. Now, I'm not saying that the channel is not beneficial, but I'm saying that I can recognize I can see where I was and I can see where I am now. And so sometimes good things fall apart so something else can come together. 1,076 days is what was required for something better to come together. That would have been Tennille Talks. Now, when I created that channel, I shared it with a lot of people that were family. They were absolutely family. They were friends. They were lovers. So one of the reasons why I couldn't catch a rhythm is because I was attached to people that just were not a part of my chosen path. These were not people who shared my chosen syllabus. These are people who were moving and living their life based on the world syllabus. And so step number one was I need to make a lot of mistakes. One of my mistakes is sharing my chosen path with somebody who was of the world. And so the channel fell apart, not because it didn't exist, but because the passion, the spirit in me that I applied to that channel fell apart. Now, this reading talks about heartache, loss, and false narratives. In many ways, this reading seems like a personal, like it seems like I'm supposed to tell you about my journey up until this point. That's what this reading is telling me. Now, we all have a chosen syllabus, and it's not given to us. It is something that we must gain, and we gain it step by step. And so what I'm understanding is that by telling you how I read or how I moved through my syllabus, it may reveal to you how you are called to move through your own syllabus. And so I couldn't dance. When I first tried that reading, I couldn't dance, but it was really because I was so far away from the music. The music itself would have been the rhythm and the flow of the Most High. I couldn't hear the Most High, so everything was really me. Another thing that I found important is that, you know, in order for me to name a channel after my legal name, that means that there's a certain level of exposure and authenticity that I'm bringing to this space that I didn't bring to the other channel. I'm not saying that everything you create has to be your legal birth name, but I'm saying that authenticity is absolutely a requirement when you are trying to fulfill the expectations of your syllabus. So when my channel fell apart, it wasn't, like I said, it exists, But there was some type of manipulation. There was bullying. There was interference. And so I dealt with a lot of false narratives about why I was dealing with some type of storms. And so good things fall apart so other things can fall together. But not only did I have to fall apart, not only did I have to lose my passion, not only did my spirit have to be broken, but everybody that I shared that channel with, I had to deal with the opinions, the narratives, like all the shit that they were talking in the process of it, right? I've said this before. The very first personal reading that I ever did based on that channel was for a family member, and that family member betrayed me. Now, that was the first time I recognized the betrayal, but that was not the last betrayal. That was just the first time I recognized it. You know how sometimes so I gave this person a personal reading, and then they shared it with a group of people. And I don't know who this this person is very dishonest, so I don't know how much was true. So I gave them a personal reading, and then they sent me a screenshot of a text message where they sent out the reading to a group of people, and almost as if like they were celebrating my gifts. I now recognize that was not true at all. So I felt exposed, I felt open, but then I also felt attacked because not everybody, especially if you have a family where people have made contracts with entities, not everybody wants you to be using this type of gift, because what happens if you reveal? What happens if you see? What happens if you discover something that they have kept hidden? And so that channel had to fall apart. Now, not only did it fall apart, but my entire life was falling apart at the same time. I have mugs for Tennille Talks, but y'all, when I'm telling you that channel, it was everything to me. I had an Etsy shop with like over 100 mugs. I had journals. I created 5 journals on Amazon. I created Tumblr. I created so much stuff. But I recognized that like God was not in that. Not that I was, it was like more of a commercial spirituality where this is like nitty gritty, like I'm in it. I am all the way in it. And so it had to fall apart because I had to discover who people were. I had to discover who I really was. And also I couldn't dance because I was not trusting the timing of the Most High. I was planning and kind of forcing something to unfold, but I wasn't in the right space emotionally, spiritually, or mentally for it to be that type of success. I wasn't in the right space because I really hadn't even tapped into my truth, my authenticity. There were so many layers of self that I would later have to shed in order to get to this moment. Now, a lot of people love for shit to fall apart. They love to watch you go through storms. And so I opened myself up. I'm going through storms, and I felt like people had a piece of me. They had a piece of me that they could talk about. They had a piece of me that they could judge. And so let me tell you something. I had to make every fucking mistake possible. And don't you know, when I started Tennille Talks, I didn't tell any fucking body. And so anybody that listens to me, it's not because I told them the name of my channel. It's not because I welcome them here. It's because however they know, they just know. And so the beginning of this says that, listen, step 1 of your divine syllabus, step 1 of your chosen syllabus is to trust the timing. A lot of times we may build something thinking that it's a part of our spirituality, or we may create something thinking that the Most High is all in it. But sometimes we have to just test it in order to see who people are. We really need to test our environment. We really need to see what's happening around us. And when something falls apart, it's just because we couldn't dance. We would not have been able to dance with those people. We would not have been able to dance in that space. Okay. And so I went through some storms, definitely caused me some heartache and loss. Now, the second part of this syllabus talks about basic information. Don't let your happiness depend on something you may lose. That was my second mistake, is that it broke my spirit. I thought that because I created the mugs, I thought because I created the journals, I thought that everything I created was going to lend to my happiness. But the reality is like the Most High still wasn't as involved, right? So here's the thing. This is the energy of the past life journey. In order for me to pick up a spiritual calling, I'm really continuing something that I've already started in a past life. I'm trying to remember aspects of my soul. None of that was on my mind when I created that first channel. It doesn't mean that the information is not valuable. It doesn't mean that the information is not useful. The intention is pure. My heart was pure. But like, I just didn't consider that I was a part of some type of contract with the Most High. I just hadn't gotten to the depth in myself to see it that way. I would never have thought that this was my destiny. I thought it was an interest. I thought it was something I loved. But like, y'all, I just didn't go deep enough. And so when people judged me, when people attacked me, when people misused the video or the readings I did for them, when they did everything that they did against me, it did break me, right? But my happiness was not in alignment. What I'm saying is sometimes you have to get it wrong so that you can get it right. And so I got it wrong, but I got it wrong, and a lot of people were watching. And the people that were watching were family. Honestly, people that I trusted. And so the next part is like, listen, the second part of the syllabus, it kind of talks about like basic information. This is like the course name, the course number. When does the class meet? Where does the class meet? What's the name of your instructor? What's the contact info? One of the reasons why that channel or that version of me failed when I tried to create that channel is because I didn't have the basic information about the Most High. I didn't recognize that this was a part of a past life journey. I didn't know that I was about to bring up a part of my soul's memory. I had no idea that I was exploring my past life gifts. No clue at all. Now, once I could tell you everything that I needed to tell you, spiritually speaking, now prosperity begins. So I first had to go through heartache and loss. Now I'm in the season where prosperity can begin. I'm really talking about spiritual prosperity. Like the difference between Destiny Digits and Tennille Talks is really about my proximity to the Most High. I can tell you about my instructor. I can tell you when I go to class. I can tell you so many things about the classes and the courses and the ways in which I have sat and talked and had things revealed to me with the Most High. You will recognize when you listen to those videos that I just didn't have it. I didn't get there yet. I didn't get there. Now, the next part of our syllabus talks about like your course content. These are like the major topics, like the major things you're going to learn. And so this says, not everybody was meant to evolve. Some are here to remind you of what it looks like if you don't. So this is where the Most High called me to be authentic. Okay. So the major topic of a chosen syllabus, it all stems from your authenticity. The Most High is giving you a moment to really jump into yourself and to be who you really are. That means you have to express yourself truly. You have to be fearlessly authentic. You have to be bold. You got to live bold. In order to answer the call of your soul, you have to be authentically you, and you have to allow the truth to empower you. I don't think I shared any personal anything on that channel. I really don't think I did. I think I stayed very far away. I didn't show my face, and I don't think I connected. I don't think I connected personally like I'm connecting now. But I also didn't have the strength. I didn't have the faith. I didn't have the belief in self. I believe that my heart and my intentions were pure, but I just didn't go deep enough, right? And so 3 years had to pass between the creation of that channel and this channel in order for me to get to where I am now. 3 years. What happened to my life in those 3 years was nothing but obstacles, right? And so if you can find paths without any obstacles, it probably leads nowhere. I went through 3 years of obstacles and I finally got somewhere. This is about that portal of mystery, stepping into the unknown. The divine path is going to call you to step into the unknowns. Many of those unknowns are about you. Who are you, right? And sometimes it's going to be an obstacle or something devastating that reveals to you who you really we are. Sometimes we build a lot of stuff that we think is good, and then when it falls down, we never think that because something greater is being built, we often internalize it as if we've made some type of mistake. So authentically being self means that not everybody can do it, first of all. Being authentic and telling the truth and answering the call of your soul is hard to do. The Matrix kind of sets us up to be programmed in a very cookie cutter way. Everybody walks a path, and depending on how you walk, you are compared. Are you walking well? Are you not walking well? And so the chosen has to be comfortable walking alone. Your syllabus and your course is not going to look like everybody else's. And so being yourself is required, because when you are rejected, when you are talked about, when people create false narratives, when they abuse you, attack you, and when they lie, you got to keep walking. You can't stop and turn around, because your path is leading you somewhere. The obstacle is not an indication that you're not going somewhere. It reveals to you that you must be going somewhere that the common man can't go. The next part of the syllabus, it talks about student responsibilities. And so what is the one responsibility that I had to learn? I have a card here. It says, living for the approval of people keeps you from the purpose of God. And so the problem or the misstep that I made when I created that channel is that I sent it to my father. I sent it to my aunt. I was doing readings for family members and cousins and their friends or the people they worked with. Like I got off of Facebook, but then I got back on Facebook just so I could share the channel, because I was looking for approval. I was looking for people to say, amen, good job. And when people didn't respond the way I wanted, it definitely hurt my spirit. I had an Instagram, I had a TikTok, I had a YouTube, like I had all of the things, right? Like I was trying to set it up maybe more like a business, but I was so far from the Most High, and it was really because I was living for the approval of others. I wanted everybody in the Matrix to say, yes, Tennille, good job. But in the process of that was like a burden, waiting for people to tell you good job, waiting for people to approve of me. It was like carrying burdens, because every time I didn't get the proper amen or the proper congratulations, it almost caused me some type of heaviness. And so once you get called to be authentically who you are, it is like, okay, are you going to choose people? Or are you going to choose the Most High? So on that first channel, I chose people. I wanted people to approve me. And when they didn't, that meant that I let my happiness depend on something I lost. Because when I didn't get their satisfaction, when I didn't get their support, I felt like I lost. I felt like I couldn't be happy. But in the process of learning to be authentic, it's like, okay, everybody is not evolving. Just because people are going to work every day, just because people are traveling and doing what the Matrix says is successful, it doesn't mean they're evolving. It doesn't mean that they're getting closer to the Most High. It doesn't even mean that they're fucking authentic, right? And so in order to get the breakthrough, in order to be successful, in order to be triumphant, all you have to do is be you. You just have to answer the call to your soul. Not the soul of the Matrix. I feel like the Matrix itself has a soul, and everybody has to align with the path of that. But to be a chosen, your syllabus unfolds one step at a time. First, you have to let everything fall apart that's not supposed to exist. Those are relationships, those are things, habits, behaviors, right? And as these things fall apart, you're finally catching the divine rhythm. You're learning how to dance with the Most High. After that, you figure out, well, what makes me happy? You don't allow your happiness to depend on something you may lose. You're not going to lose your soul. You're not going to lose your past life journey, and you're not going to lose your connection or your relationship with the Most High. So you must establish yourself with the Most High in mind every single step. After you understand your relationship with the Most High, well, then it's about, okay, so who are you? What's your truth? What's your reality, right? Do you recognize that by being in alignment with your soul, by having this connection and answering this call, it means that you are going to go through a series of evolutions that many people won't go through? And when you see people not growing, it is because they have used their free will not to grow. One of the things about evolving is that it gets really quiet. There's less noise. You can finally enjoy the silence because not everybody evolves. And so you're not going to have, so a lot of your evolution, it takes place alone in solitude or in isolation. And although you are alone, you are still making an achievement. You are still experiencing breakthroughs and success because it is about your soul's journey. And that is a very individual walk. Once you choose your divinity, and when you choose your divinity, that means you don't choose people. You don't choose the approval of people. It's either, am I going to choose the approval of people, or am I going to choose the purpose that the Most High has given me? When we're talking about letting go of burdens, that's like when we release everything that does not belong to us. The opinions of others don't belong to us. The approval of others doesn't belong to us. When you put people down, you feel lighter. You feel free. That's spiritual freedom. That's where you finally get to like this state of release because you have lightened the load. You're not carrying anything that don't belong to you. A lot of relationships like to project their opinion or their belief or their narrative about who you are or what you should do. And so everybody that I tried to get to approve me, once I chose my divinity, once I chose my purpose from the Most High, now all of these people right now, present day, are on the outside looking in. They don't know nothing unless they watch my channel, and they definitely do. But I literally had to close the cycle on other people. I had to shut everybody else up so that I can only hear and sense the voice of the Most High. Now, the final thing is like, okay, so you're responsible. If this was a class, what is your responsibility of the student? It is to make sure that you are only focused on the purpose of the Most High, not the approval of people. How are we graded? There's a part in most syllabus that talks about how you're going to be graded. If the Most High was to grade us, we would be graded on our shadow. If our shadow is loud, that means that we are not using all the resources given to us. If our light is loud, that means that we are using the resources provided to us. What is the main resource that the Most High gives us in order to make sure that our shadow is not loud? It's love, unconditional love. Love is like this infinite force. You use love to nourish your soul. Once you nourish your soul, you spread it to the world. Love is just something that nourishes your soul. When you pick up your chosen path, you are picking up a piece of your soul. You are continuing. And so you got to love it. You got to nurture it. You got to nourish it. And the Most High says, use love. Love is boundless. Love expands. Love is unconditional. And so when your shadow is loud, it's because the hurts have been loud. The pain has been loud. And so you need to use the love in order to love your shadow. That means you have to love the hurt until you're healed. You have to love the heartbreak until you're healed. Anything that has given you darkness, you must take love to it. Once you heal self, you take it and you heal others. Now, this reading is getting a little personal for me only because in my life, like right now, I almost feel like my family is like paparazzi. Like the way I am watched, I think that they're surprised every damn day I wake up. I think they can't believe it. Anytime I can buy groceries, they're like, oh my God, her life hasn't fallen apart. She still has money. Oh my God, she has an Amazon package. It's like literally whatever plans and schemes they made against me behind the scenes, I am watched every single day because they are waiting for that to be fulfilled. Y'all, they gonna watch me as long as they want to watch me, and nothing in my life is going to shift. Now, whatever they successfully were able to do, whatever they did to me in the past, they were just able to do to me in the past. And so what's unfortunate is that I am so locked into my journey, and I'm literally in the process of like battling people, but nobody says anything to my face. They do this behind my back, but obviously I can read everything very easily. And so now that I'm in this social media space, This is like where things get exposed. In the process of healing your shadow, you are going to have to expose a lot because you are going to have to bring truth. You are going to have to bring light. Not everybody is going to like the way you heal your shadow, especially if those were the people that caused the shadow to grow. If they caused the hurt, the pain, and the betrayal, if they made sure you were heartbroken, if they made sure that they lied and created false narratives, when you finally get to this space of walking in your destiny, people are going to be obsessed. They won't be able to look away. But guess what? They can't look away because your light is too bright. And so the darkness in them that caused them to move against you is the very thing that you have to expose. But you can't really expose another's shadow unless you are willing to expose your own, which is why authenticity and truth is so liberating. And so, y'all, that was the message I got for this reading. And I really wanted to call this the syllabus of the chosen. I feel like ours is gained. And one of the ways that we gain it is by losing. I think first things have to fall apart. Then you have to decide, well, what really makes me happy? If anything outside of the Most High makes you happy, then those are the things that are going to be falling apart for you. Then you have to be comfortable about understanding what evolution looks like. It looks like you being you authentically. The way you win is just by showing up as you. The way you achieve, the way you get successful, it's by being you. Your greatest job, your greatest opportunity, the greatest gig you're ever going to be given is the gig of you. Just be you. As soon as you recognize that you are the greatest gift you've ever been given, this is when you start to close cycles. All those cycles where you were living for the approval of others, all those cycles where we chose people over our divinity. It's like, okay, now you need to kick all of those people out. Everybody needs to be on the outside looking in. As soon as everybody is on the outside looking in, you enjoy the silence. You enjoy the peace. You can hear your intuition. You can hear and feel and sense the Most High. Once you've made choices, once you've recognized that you actually have a path or a calling, this is when your destiny starts to unlock. And when you are on the path to fulfilling your destiny, you are graded by your shadow. Imagine if the Most High wanted to grade us for our course. If this is our class and if we're taking this class called life, when we get graded, I feel like our shadow is measured. The Most High is like, I've given you all the love. So you need to take the love I give you and you need to love yourself. After you love yourself, you love the world. Like that's literally what this reading is saying. You use boundless love in order to heal your shadow. You are graded by your shadow. You are graded by your own hurt. You are graded by your own healing. Now I have the energy of like social media. Social media to me, I almost see it as like the modern day Bible. And I really think that everybody needs a page. And in the event that you use social media in order to express your divine or your chosen path, I have a card here and it talks about your divine partner. And so once you choose your destiny, the people, the places, the assets, the things that are attached to your soul's journey are going to make its way to you. And a lot of what we do in the world today is on social media. And so if YouTube is a Bible, I feel like everybody needs a chapter, everybody needs a page just to authentically be you. And you never know who you're going to find. You never know who you're going to cross paths with. But once you've checked off every other box of your syllabus, once you recognize that the goal was to be okay with good things falling apart, fine, something else is going to be better. Once you recognize, oh, I'm working with the Most High, nothing else can make me happy, I don't need to exist in my carnal state. Like once you really can identify the relationship that you have with the Most High, that's where you like understand the basic information for what this journey is. Then you got to understand your content. What am I learning? I'm learning how to evolve. Everybody on this earth is not evolving. Everybody didn't choose to wake up in this lifetime and to use their days, their 24 hours to evolve. My responsibility is to live from my purpose, my godly purpose, which means a lot of people are not going to approve of me. And I need to be able to make peace with that. When the Most High comes to check on me, I'm going to be checked and graded based on the shadow. How strong is my shadow? The hurts and the pains are kind of like hiding our gifts. And so if you want to discover your gifts, you got to go figure out what's hiding in those hurts, those pains, those nooks, those crannies, right? And the Most High will know. The Most High will know if you are truly working because you've been given love. Love is the greatest material. It is the greatest resource that we have access to in order to pass our chosen class. It is love. And so if you are not healed, or if your shadow is loud, you are not using love enough. Love is boundless. It is endless. It is unconditional. It can never be exhausted, which means that you can heal and heal and heal and heal, and it'll never stop, right? Now the hurts are going to come, but the beautiful thing is that love is always there. Y'all, so that's the energy that I got for this reading. So I'm going to share my first channel, Destiny Digits Numerology. Now, when I did a poll a while ago, let me say this, divine rhythm. I talked about, kind of watching somebody not be able to dance. Sometimes I myself know that I want to have a course, and I did create the course. Like, there are things that I want to put in place during certain seasons, during certain times, but if that is not the rhythm or the timing that the Most High needs me to move in, then I'm recognizing that just because I want it, just because I say it, it doesn't mean it is the season for me to actually do it. Now, at some point, I put out a poll about the type of memberships I should create, and one of the memberships, it was like a tarot numerology course. And so when I created my first channel, I also created a PDF. I think it's like 7 pages, but it's like a cheat sheet. It is a cheat sheet for tarot and all things numerology. And so I'm going to post that in the event somebody wants to purchase it. I think I'm just going to make it $5.55. But I made it when I made my first channel, Destiny Digits. And so I feel like personally, I'm waking up, and I'm only waking up because I've gotten through the learning objectives. I've gotten through the goals. I'm understanding the basic information of what it means to be given a syllabus of the chosen. I'm understanding the course content. I'm understanding what it means for me to be responsible as a student of the Most High. And I also understand that my shadow is going to be how I'm graded. Sometimes if we're not healing properly, we are restricting our soul from really being able to evolve. And listen, sometimes you have textbooks and you have a list of materials and supplies that you got to go buy for your class. Literally the only thing we need per this reading is love. I have a card that literally says boundless love. It is an infinite force. You allow it to nourish your soul, and then you spread it to the world. And so when the Most High grades you, you're going to be graded based on the amount of love that you have implemented into your own life. And then how have you poured that out into the lives of others? So y'all, it literally took me from the creation of Destiny Digits to the creation of Tennille Talks. It took me 1,076 days. That's 35 months or 3 years. And the Tennille that I was when I created Destiny Digits versus the Tennille that I was when I created Tennille Talks, there were nothing but obstacles and challenges. How did I grow? How did I evolve? How did I develop? Obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. The last time I posted a video on Destiny Digits was December 7th, 2022. And the first time I posted a video on Tennille Talks was April 14th, 2024. That is 16 months or 494 days. So the last video on that channel to the first video on this channel, it was 16 months. And so there is a level of time, right? And I didn't know it was going to take this time. I didn't know it would be 35 months in between one channel. Like, you just don't know. And so a lot of our journeys are really about stepping into the unknown. I thought I knew everything when I created that first channel. I knew fucking nothing. Like, my intentions are pure, and like, I set the goal to be successful. Like, I did all of the things that you typically would think to do, I did all of the things in order to be successful. And then when it wasn't successful, it did something to me spiritually. But then I also shared it with a lot of fucking demonic people. And to see something that I create not grow, it gave a lot of people satisfaction. And so now that I have created something in private, I have not included anybody. And the only way they can watch, is they just have to watch, but it's not by invitation. It's just by either stalking or however they figure it out. But it gives me a sense of peace to know that I finally got to a space where I was able to take this path alone, and I didn't really need approval. I didn't need anybody to tell me good job or, this is another thing that really pissed me off. When I created that first channel, Destiny Digits, the family member that I did a personal reading for, the very personal reading I ever did was for a family member. And then they sent it out almost as if they were marketing. How do you market somebody's divine gift? You know what I mean? How do you market somebody's spiritual calling? And so there are a lot of delusional people who don't think, and so when I recognized the way people mishandled me, it also revealed to me how I was mishandling me. Because now I would never put anything sacred in the hands or in the mouths of the people that I was trying to share myself with before, right? And so not only did I have to make a lot of mistakes, but I needed to see who people were. So I needed to be very liberal with myself. I needed to give everybody access. And now nobody has fucking access. And so this really is a personal journey. Obviously, it's not that personal because it's public. It's on social media. But for me, it's about linking up with my soul tribe. It's really about linking up with my soul tribe. And just because I've known you since birth, just because we call each other family, it does not mean that we are part of the same soul tribe. It doesn't mean that we have the same mission, doesn't mean we have the same calling. And so to see the way that the people I called family responded to me and treated me, to see the type of warfare that they have waged and continue to wage, it is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But I'm here. I'm not putting this class down. I'm not dropping this class. I understand the requirements. I understand the framework. I understand the parameters. And I feel like once you accept the syllabus of the chosen, there is a level of protection because the obstacles are going to come, but so does the protection. All right, y'all. I love you. I hope this was beneficial. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.